I suppose the interesting discussion that we're now going to go on to is how do we add value in the C-suite? And I think there's a couple of things that are really important. And the first one is the fact that we're judged on outcomes, not output. So time spent does not equal success, and that's a critical point. There are definitive skills that are new to your role in the C-suite compared to what you've been doing previously in your career. So previously in your career, I mean, typically a finance and an FP&A career is spent mustering your own ability to manage your workload for the first 10 years and developing a reputation of delivering great output, great insight, and taking your remit forward. And then as you start managing larger teams, it becomes around managing the output of your teams. Actually, when you get to the C-suite, both of those become hygiene factors, and what actually is a judgment on your performance is whether you're able to influence the course of the business. And so a critical thing is being able to differentiate between noise and signals. As FP&A professionals, you will be privy to more information from more sources than anyone else in the business. You'll get the information from the markets from the IR team. You'll get the information from the front line on commercial trends. You'll get the information from ops on our capabilities to deliver. You'll get information from treasury on interest rates. You are the glue and you are the eyes and ears of the CFO to be able to put that all together. And if you concentrate on the wrong things and deliver the wrong message and aid in your CFO prioritizing the wrong things, that is ultimately what comes down. And I think there's I can't understate just how important the management of the risk and ops schedule is in that, because there are tons of upsides and risks throughout the year, and it's understanding which of these has an impact in terms of overall size, but also in terms of impact on the operations of the business. So I mentioned focusing efforts on storyboarding, and I know that there's a lot of movement towards finance becoming better storyboarders, becoming better at framing complex financial points and laying them out in easy to understand but guiding fashions for ExCo members. When we get to the very, very senior levels in terms of understanding how PLC or non-PLC NEDs work, one of the key things I learned was, depending on the cadence of a lot of your board meetings in your companies, actually a lot of effort that goes into the work up until the board meeting is making sure the presentations are right, making sure we're making the right messages, making sure that we're that the numbers are right. But actually, if we think that our presentation is going to be the difference between a decision being made or not at the board, that's the wrong way to look at it. Actually, decisions are made in the run-up to a board meeting. So it's really, really important that as we, as FP&A professionals, are getting a handle on the numbers in terms of, if we're understanding what our budget is looking like for next year, if there are gaps versus our midterm plan, if there's upside, if there's big macroeconomic shifts, it's how do we relay that to the board so that there aren't surprises and so there aren't difficult discussions to be had at that board, because a board that turns up to a paper that shows a shock, a massive downgrading of a forecast, or a massive risk versus our midterm plan, or a huge upside even, the fact that we potentially have beaten our Q3 earnings by a consensus by over 10%, that is, that shows definite room for improvement from FP&A, because actually when we're partnering the C-suite, the important thing is to prepare those meetings so that decisions are able to be made there and then.